All right, it's just it's several hours later. It's still daytime though. It's just after 6 on the same day that I did part 2 of the Beat the Heat video about what I'm doing. Well, my garden was already experiencing heat damage. Now, I did water these plants, so they're actually looking a little restored. I just watered them within the last 10 minutes. I had watered them yesterday morning. I thought that was enough. I was going to start watering daily starting tomorrow, but I think I'm going to have to start watering daily. Starting tomorrow now, but I should have started today. I didn't start today because the 100-degree temperatures weren't going to be here until the evening, so I thought it would be okay, but they weren't. So everything may be restored by the time I get to them in this video, because this right here was looking really bad. My little marigolds, they were looking pathetic. The eggplant is still looking kind of bad. It's perking up at the top. The tomato over here has some curling leaves that were not there earlier. I didn't notice them. Like, this is the same area I shot earlier. There's a spider web. I don't think it looked like this earlier. Now, the raised beds seem to be okay. Now, I deep watered them yesterday. I guess I didn't deep water the containers. I'm gonna have to make sure I do that. The flowers were actually doing okay, but they're under the shade cloth. These front plants are partially not under the shade cloth because the sun, is south for a good part of the day. So this part of this side of the plants is exposed, since it's not completely under the shade cloth. So I may have to move these down to the ground, even though I love how it looks with them up here. I can't have them up here if they're going to be getting roasted. Anyway, everything else over here seemed to be doing okay. My lemon tree was already looking like it had some heat damage. I'll go show that one. So I gave it a little water just now too. So some of its leaves are curling. Just a little bit. I'm in the shadows. My shadow is blocking, but the west is behind me. You can kind of see how the leaves are curling. So I'm gonna repot this plant tomorrow. I plan to, at least this weekend at some point. I also want to repot the blueberry bushes. Anyway, I'm gonna show you the worst of the damage. I did give the strawberries some water, so they're looking a little better, but they weren't looking bad. But they're looking much better with the water. As is the grapevine. The peppers seemed okay, but I'll deep water tomorrow. But like I said, the raised beds seemed okay. Even this one seemed okay, even though there's no mulch. I'm gonna add mulch tomorrow or tonight when it's cooler. Now this may be my casualty for day 1 of triple-digit temps. This tomato plant doesn't have any shade protection at noontime. Of course, this fence is west, so after about 1:30, 2 o'clock, it doesn't have direct sunlight except through those planks or those pickets. So not much. But the leaves are curling. And I just watered this plant within the last 15 minutes. It has not bounced back. So I don't know how this plant is going to survive. I don't know if it is going to survive. I think maybe it will. This was also doing okay. I hadn't shown you all this. The soil looked completely dried out, but the plants looked okay. I have tomatoes in here, basil, I think that's oregano, and I'm not sure what that is. That little one may be a volunteer. It's not basil. This little thing is for the basil on the left. I don't know what that little tiny plant is. Anyway, these seem to be okay. I'm gonna put some mulch in here too. Volunteer Watermelon is huge. I think there are two of them here. I thought it was one, but this has to be more than one. Anyways, y'all, I just discovered this heat damage and was horrified, so I wanted to share. And it's just an example of just how quickly the heat can destroy your garden. I mean, in a matter of hours, definitely within a day. If you don't have some kind of protection, you got to prepare. You got to protect your garden just so you can continue. I know a lot of people won't even try to grow during this hot temperature, but I want to, and I can with these with the shade cloth, so I will. And also making sure to water the plants appropriately. I need to get myself another moisture meter because the one I have I kind of left in this pot, I don't think it works. Yeah, it doesn't seem to work. And I did just water this plant, and let me try another one. Yeah, I don't think this worked. But anyway, I'm gonna get some more moisture meters and not leave them in the soil. But I'm gonna start measuring the soil, making sure it's okay, not assuming anything. And I probably will go ahead and try and put that drip irrigation up. And I decided because the containers were the worst affected, I'm gonna put the drip irrigation in the containers instead of the raised beds, because I can just lay the hose on the raised beds to deep water them. That's easier than walking around, you know, to water each one of these, you know, stopping in each one of them to make sure they get enough water to deep water them. So I try to deep water at least once a week. And since it's hot now, I will try to deep water at least twice a week, and maybe just come out and give them a little drink of water every morning just to make sure they'll make it through each day. But when I get the moisture meter, I can at least measure, you know, use that to measure the soil to see if they need water. I just discovered that and I wanted to share. Thanks for watching, y'all.